What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Locked In Sports Podcast channel. So, on this channel, we're going to be talking about sports, betting lines, player props, anything you guys need to know about sports. And today, we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. So, basically, I'm going to give you guys the lines that I'm going to be taking for the game, the spread, player props, all different kinds of stuff. So, for those of you that don't know, Super Bowl 56 in LA, Rams versus Bengals, it's going to be a great game. So first off, I want to come on here and say that it's going to be a great game, regardless of who wins this game, and I'm super excited to see the outcome of this game. Personally, I'm going to give you guys a little background information. The Bengals, honestly, they've covered the spread in every playoff game, so that's something to think about. But the Rams are at home. They're going to be playing tough. Matthew Stafford's playing some of the best football of his career. And you got playmakers all over the field for both sides of the ball. The Bengals have came way too far to lose this game. They have a Cinderella story back like the 2018 Eagles did. It's going to be a great game, and I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon and all those guys are really going to be able to fight it out, and I think that they have so much talent that I think that they're going to come away with the win here. I think the Bengals are such a tough team. That defense is so good. They got such a great defensive line with Trey Hendrickson, all those guys. They got Wouzier in the secondary. Obviously, Jesse Bates. So those guys are playing great. And they're going to put the pressure on Stafford. You know, Stafford, once he gets under pressure, it's hard for him to throw. But you haven't really seen him under pressure these playoffs. Like, he's been playing some tough football. But you got to think about the Bengals. Think about it. They just beat the Chiefs, who were the Super Bowl favorite. You know? Like, everyone thought the Chiefs were going to come in this season and win this game or win the Super Bowl. But the Bengals had something else to say about it, and they played one of the best games I've seen at any team play this whole season. So coming off of that, you got to say the Bengals. They're such a tough team, and I'm a little surprised that they're an underdog here because, I mean, look at all the power they have. I mean, they're such a high-powered offense, and that the only thing that's going to slow them a little bit down is that defense. But I still think that they're going to get the job done. I think the Bengals are going to win this game, 27-21. Burrow, Zach Taylor, they all win their first Super Bowl. Bengals, Cincinnati, they're loving it. So now we're going to talk about some player props. So player props are basically stats that you think you can bet on the players for the stats that you think they're going to have for the games. So let's start off with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's passing yards right now is at 275.5, which means that Joe Burrow will have to either throw for over or under 275 yards. I think this game's going to come down to a shootout, honestly. I mean, I said it's going to be 27-21. I think both of these teams are going to have great games in the air. I mean, you got Cooper Kupp, OBJ, Tyler Higbee on that side. And then on the Bengals side, you got obviously Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. I've heard rumors that Uzama's going to be coming back. They have so many guys out there for Burrow to throw the ball to. And I don't know who's going to be. I mean, obviously, they got Ramsey, Darius Williams. Eric Weddle's been playing good, even though they got him off of the just veteran signing. But he's been good. I think that secondary's been really, really good. But the Bengals, I mean, I haven't seen a team been able to stop all those players. I mean, you could see that the Chiefs, they didn't really stop Jamar, but they only held him to 54 yards. But still, T. Higgins stepped up and he had 100 yards and they won the game. So I think Burrow's going to go over 275. I think Burrow is going to really, because a lot of people said that he hasn't had the playoffs that not the playoffs they expected, but that he hasn't had the playoffs that everyone's hyping him up. You know, everyone's hyping up Joe Burrow right now. And he's only thrown 2 touchdown passes and a pick, you know. But I think this game he's really going to shine. I really do. I think this is going to be his breakout game during these playoffs, and I think that he's really going to solidify himself as a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. So now another player that I really liked was Matthew Stafford. They only have his over at 280, and the last 2 playoff games he's had over 330 passing yards. 280, I feel like, even with that Bengals secondary too, like he's got so many weapons. Cooper Kupp, OBJ, Tyler Higbee, Van Jefferson, Cam Akers out of the backfield, Sony Michel. Like, they have so many guys. Like, he's going to be throwing the ball everywhere, and I feel like they had him throwing. I think he threw almost 50 passes last game. Like, he's going to be throwing the ball. And it's up to the Bengals secondary to step up, but I think that Stafford's definitely going to go over 280 because he's been playing such great football, and that O-line's been playing really, really good. I feel like that whole offense has just really stepped up since they got to the playoffs. They were in a little bit of a slump in the second half of the season, but I think they've really stepped up, and I think they're going to be really, really good. So yeah, I think Stafford's gonna have a great game in the air, and I think 280 is definitely. I think he's going over there for sure. So now we're gonna talk about Joe Mixon and the Bengals run game. So I think Joe Mixon's had a great playoffs. He's had a great playoff, not career, but this whole playoff series, he's been great. And I think that the Bengals are definitely gonna feed him this game. Last game he had 88 yards. I think he had almost 100 off of scrimmage yards. And I think that he's going to play great this game. I think that that's the way that the Bengals are going to win this game. If they win on the ground, they're going to be set. So I think Joe Mixon, I think he's going to go over 64.5 rushing yards. And I think that he's going to have a really big game. I think he might score the first touchdown of the game. I think he definitely could. I feel like if the Bengals get the ball first, I think they're going to drive down the field. And, if they get to the goal line, they're going to feed him. And, he's a powerful back. Even with that subpar, to say the least, Bengals O-line, he's been playing great football. He's breaking tackles, getting to the secondary. And I think that he's definitely going to have over 64 yards. I think he's going to really have a shining game this game. I think he's going to be great. So now back to another Rams player. Let's talk about OBJ right here. So Odell, had to say the least, has definitely revived his career. Everyone was trying to cancel him, trying to say, oh, it was OBJ's fault, it wasn't Baker's fault. And Odell, as soon as he came to the Rams, he made an instant impact, and he's been incredible for them. Just in these last two playoff games, 9 catches for 113 yards and 6 for 69, and a touchdown versus the Cardinals too. He's been playing some of his best football, and he's been really that good possession guy for the Rams. And he has some big plays, but overall, they just feed him short, middle. They don't really do nothing crazy with him. They just let him go out there and do what he does best and just catch the ball. So I think he's definitely. So right now the over is at 5.5 receptions. I think he'll definitely go over that. I see him getting around 6 or 7 receptions this game. I think he's definitely going to be a big part of their offense, and I think he'll break one. If it's a drag, if they throw him over a cover 2 seam, I think he's definitely going to be open. And I feel like he's going to have a lot of Stafford's passing yards. I said Stafford's going to have over 280. I think Odell will have at least 90 of that. So now we'll talk about another receiver, T. Higgins, who definitely was one of the stars of last game versus the Chiefs. He had 6 for 103, and he was a huge part of that offense. He was playing incredible. He's had 96 or more in the last 2 games. He's been playing great football. He's one of Burrow's safety blankets. He's got big, tough hands. He's a big guy, and I think he could even score this game. I could see him hitting a little post for about 30 yards and scoring. So they have him at over 71.5 receiving yards. I think he's such a dynamic player, and I think even if they throw him short, he'll add up those catches. I think this game he could have about 5-6 catches, and he'll break one eventually. He's a big, lengthy, tall guy. I think he's about 6'4". He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He is. Jamar Chase is obviously the guy who a lot of people talk about in the Bengals, but don't take away from T. Higgins. He's been incredible this season, and he's such a good player. That's all you really got to say about him. So now I'll talk about Jamar Chase here for a second. I think Jamar will definitely score a touchdown in this game. He's had a he had a touchdown last week, and he's been a little quiet in the end zone these playoffs. He only had 1 touchdown 3 games, but I think that this game he turns it around. I could see him even scoring 2 touchdowns this game. He's such a red zone target for them, and obviously they're gonna be definitely shadowing him with Ramsey, and they're gonna put a safety over the top. But I think he's bound to break one. He's such a superstar caliber player, and he wants to win this game so bad. So I think he's gonna do everything in his power, and I could see definitely. I think Burrow's gonna feed him one of his favorite targets, if not his favorite target, and I think he's definitely gonna have a really big game. And I love him as a player, and I just think he's incredible. So overall, I'm super excited for this game. I can't wait. I think either way, I'm going to be happy because I think this is going to be a great game. I think we're all in it for a treat. So I personally think the Bengals are going to win it 27-21. I can see Burrow, 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He's sitting on top of there with the Super Bowl MVP trophy. All of Cincinnati's loving it, and I think I just can't wait for this game, honestly. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one, and enjoy the big game.